Hello YouTube, Dave here again. This is an update for the upcoming Encounter at Blackwall Keep game that I plan on running at the King Con convention, a local gaming convention here for the Annapolis Valley, Kentville, Nova Scotia. That is going to be taking place in July. I can't remember if it's the 4th, 5th, and 6th, or if it's the 3rd, 4th, and 5th. I had a card with the dates on it there, but I have misplaced it, so I'll either have the proper dates in the description, or I will be doing a final update video as well when shortly before the convention itself. But I am adapting Encounter at Blackwall Keep from the Age of Worms adventure path into a D&D 5e adventure that's meant to be beginner friendly. So I do want this to appeal, or I want to attempt to get some beginners in this game. Nothing I love more than teaching RPGs to people. So I'm really hoping to get some beginners, hoping to get some younger players interested. We'll see sort of how it goes when the time comes. I have mentioned in the last video that I wanted to do prize support as well, and I have that figured out now, and I have the prizes paid for, but some of them are just on their way to me. I have to wait for them to ship, obviously, because I order them from 401 Games out of Toronto. But yeah, when I was looking at the Blackwall Keep scenario here again, I want to make this sort of a simplified experience, and going through the scenario and seeing what's available here in the original and the way that I have it designed right now. There are 14 guards left at the keep, in addition to the player characters being there when the attack occurs. The lizard folk that are attacking have a group. There's 40 lizard folk total, and each of the standard lizard folk, which there are 38 of the regular lizard folk, they will use the tough stat block, and they're modified so that they have an AC of 14, so they'll have a wooden shield, and they'll have a crude mace, which gives them a damage of a d6 plus 2, and they lack the pack tactics ability. So they're not like rogues or anything like that. But I decided to use the tough stat block because I found that it more or less was what I wanted out of the stat blocks there. So I have modified them. There are going to be 6 groups of 5 lizard folk. So there's just the standard lizard folk toughs, and then there's going to be 2 groups that will have special characters in them. So each of those groups will have 4 lizard folk toughs, and then the first group will have a lizard folk geomancer by the name of Sheshit, who was actually in here as well. And then, although he was a druid, I think in the magazine. Yeah, he was a lizard folk druid. So the geomancer, I think that works perfectly fine. And then the final group will have 4 of the toughs, but then it's going to have a lizard folk berserker by the name of Kushik, and he is the leader essentially of the siege. So the players are going to be hired to deliver supplies to the Blackwall Keep, which has been under duress from a formerly peaceful group of lizard folk that have suddenly begun launching raids and assaults against the keep that have been getting more and more aggressive in nature. So the players are hired to deliver the supplies as well as to discover what's caused the change in their attitudes and sort of deal with it if they can. They are going to arrive late in the evening, so it won't be an ideal time for them to set out. So they'll be resting for the night when the attack against the keep happens. So essentially, what will happen is the lizard folk will send a group of 5 of their lizard folk, just a standard group of 5 toughs, to attack the door on the front of the keep, and then they'll send 10 lizard folk to scale the walls of the second level. So when I was looking at the maps here, it was missing the first level map, but thankfully it was included as a poster map in Dungeon Magazine. But I did redraw the whole maps here as well, and I'll be doing these again on 1-inch graph paper so that I can actually have the full-size maps available for the players to use. So on the second floor, there's actually a battlement all the way around that, or like a balcony or whatever you want to call it, that goes all the way around the keep, that the players and some of the guards will be able to be stationed at. I'm going to have 4 guards down here against the door, bracing the door from the lizard folk attacking it. And I'm going to have a group of 5 guards up on the roof as well. And they'll be providing some range support as well as potential reinforcements. And we'll talk about how that will work out here sort of in a moment. So they'll send those initial group of 10 with the 5 at the door. And essentially, the door will, with the guards sort of bracing it, it's going to take at least 5 rounds for the lizard folk at the door to breach it. So after the lizard folk reach round 5, so starting round 6 and going forward, I roll a d20, and then if I get a 16 or above, the door is smashed. So after round 6, so I'll roll just a single d20 on round 6, and then for every round after 6, I get to add a cumulative +1. So on round 7, it'll be a d20 +2, and then a d20 +3, and we'll just sort of go through that motion until I get a 16 or above, and then the door is smashed in, and the lizard folk will be able to go through the bottom as well. When that happens, a group of 5 lizard folk will be sent in as reinforcements to go through the door as well, which will take them a few rounds to get there, if they haven't already been sent in to aid the ones attacking the wall. So the way I decided to go through this, initially I had a victory point system that I was planning on using, but I found the issue with that is that you don't know what the total victory points are until the end of the scenario, right? So the guards are going to be in the thick of things, and I don't want to know how many of them have been defeated at the end of the fight. I, kind of need to know how it's going in real time. So what I've decided is that the guards, so when the lizard folk enter, wherever they are, they're going to prioritize attacking one target each first. If there's player characters there present, they will be the first ones to have lizard folk run towards them. And then any that are left over will go after the NPC guards. So in this scenario here, I've got 2 guards along with 3 player characters and 5 lizard folk down here at the door. The door is breached, so the way that it's going to work is that this lizard folk will come in, and he will go there, and he will attack the fighter. This lizard folk will come in, and he will go and attack the thief, which will provoke an attack of opportunity. Then this one is going to come in and go after the cleric, so that will draw an attack of opportunity from the thief. Again, these are just an example. It won't go exactly like this when, the actual fight happens, but it's just sort of showing how they prioritize. So there's 2 lizard folk left, and there's 2 guards. So this lizard folk will come in after that guard, and then this lizard folk will come in after this guard. Now, I'm not going to track the guards' hit points, but what I've decided on is that the guards, at the end of each round, each guard will do 5 points of damage to a lizard folk on their level. Or if they're the guards on the tower, or on the tower roof, they get to do 5 points of damage to lizard folk that are either advancing towards the keep, or that are on the keep, sort of like the battlements there, the walkway. They are going to spread out the damage, so they're not going to gang up on a single lizard folk. So if there were 4 guards and there were 3 lizard folk, each lizard folk would take 5 points of damage first, and then the final guard would do an additional 5 to one that's left over, right? So he'll do one probably in the same order, like to whatever one was done first. We'll take an extra 5, but generally they will spread out their damage. Mainly because I want the players to be the primary offensive force here, but the guards aren't, they're not nothing, right? So they will be dealing damage each round as well. And the lizard folk, if they are left to fight guards alone, so if the players don't intervene or draw them away, then after 3 rounds, a lizard folk will defeat a guard. So the guard will do 15 points of damage to that lizard folk, but the lizard folk will drop that guard. Initially, I was going to have it every 2 rounds, but I think 3 rounds makes a bit more sense. It gives a little bit more time for the guards to sort of deal damage. It also gives a bit more time for the players to get involved in the situation as well. So that's sort of the plan that I have for that. So after 3 rounds, if the lizard folk has been fighting a single guard, then that guard will be taken out. And if a second lizard folk ends up moving on to a guard because of just like sheer numbers, then it will, like, for each additional lizard folk, it will take 1 round off at that time. So if you got 2 lizard folk on a guard attacking it with no players around to intervene, then after 2 rounds that guard will be defeated. And if there are 3 lizard folk on that guard, then he's going down after a single round, sort of thing. So they can get overwhelmed, but it does take a little bit of time for them to end up being defeated. For every 2 guards that are slain, 1 from the roof will be called down to sort of take its place as reinforcements. There are going to be 4 guards on the first floor, there's going to be 5 guards on the battlements, and there's going to be 5 guards on the roof. So that's sort of the way that I have it planned out. The player characters will likely start the battle on the wall, but they can choose to be anywhere. They could choose to be on the roof. They could choose to be on the first floor. It's up to them sort of decide where they want to be. But I'm assuming that they'll probably start out here, where the largest group of lizard folk will be attacking. They'll be able to move down sort of that way. All right. So as far as deciding the lizard folk, how things are going to go, once 5 lizard folk have been slain, wherever it may be, on the battlements or in the, on the first floor, wherever it may be, another group of 5 will sort of come in to take its place, and we'll take them. They'll arrive after. It'll take a full round to get there, and then they'll be able to participate the following round in the battle. Let's see here. The special groups will arrive after 10 lizard folk have been, after 15 lizard folk have been defeated. The special group with the Geomancer will then make its appearance on the attack, and after 20 lizard folk have been defeated, that's when Kashek, the leader, will finally make his presence felt. Now, lizard folk will attempt to flee if they are reduced to 5 hit points or fewer, and they will be considered defeated at that point. This will only happen up until Kashek makes his appearance. Once he is there, then they no longer have like a morale sort of mechanic, and they will fight to the end. The battle is ended once 25 lizard folk in total have been defeated, or if the characters manage to defeat Kashek. The guards themselves will not go after the special characters. Generally, they will try to fight just the regular lizard folk, and the special characters will be left to the player characters. That does mean that the player characters ignore the special characters. They'll be able to just cut their way through the remaining guards. So a special character kills a guard every turn. And like kills, not like defeats, and the guard may survive. The special character will kill a guard each turn if the player characters aren't there to fight it. I will also make it known when one of the unique lizard folk join the battle, so it should be fairly obvious. And then, so if 25 are defeated, or Kashek is defeated, then the battle is over, and the player characters will have succeeded, the keep will have been defended, and they will get to rest for the night before they make their way into the marsh to discover what the cause of the sudden aggression is. And I'm not going to spoil that in these videos. I might do a recap after the con to sort of describe how things went, but that's the way that I have things set up. So 6 groups of 5 lizard folk, 2 groups of 4 lizard folk and a special character that will make staggered appearances throughout the battle. 25 lizard folk have to be defeated for the rest to withdraw, or the main leader of the lizard folk has to be defeated. The lizard folk will be behind, like the ones that aren't involved in the battle, they're going to be behind cover, and essentially they're not going to be part of the fight until they join. The players, I guess if they want to be really sneaky, could like leave the keep and try to, take out the leaders and stuff. But, it's dealing with a larger number all at once, so it's not a good idea for them to do it. So I think the players will be staying at the keep the whole time, And the reinforcements, they won't be part of the fight. They won't be attacked. They won't take damage from the guards or the defenders or anything like that. They'll be behind like total cover up until they actually join the fight. Because I just don't want to have to deal with all of them all at once, sort of thing. But I think those numbers are fair. The defenders will deal 5 points of damage every round to lizard folk on their level, or if they're on the tower, they can deal it to the ones that are on the outside or the ones that are advancing. Because once they enter, it'll take them one full round to reach the keep, and during that round, they can be targeted by the archers on the roof, sort of thing. And they've got their reinforcement thing at the end of the battle. Any guard that was knocked down or taken out by standard lizard folk, I'll roll a single death save for, and if I get a 10 or higher, they survive. If I get a 9 or less, then that guard has been killed. So I think that's going to work overall. Currently, I have the players at level 3. I am considering bumping them up to level 4 because I did use the tough stat block, which does have a decent amount of hit points. So I'm considering that. I haven't fully settled on it yet because it does take a few rounds. Like, the guards are going to deal 15 points of damage, nearly half, the tough's hit points to them before they're taken out. And that's only if they are taken out. So players can intervene. They can do things. They can force the lizard folk to themselves type of thing. So I think I might keep them at level 3, but we'll see. I haven't fully decided on that yet. I might give them level 4. I don't want them to have access to Fireball or some of those because those spells get pretty gross and that can wipe out basically anything in this battle. So I don't really want to go that far yet, but I might make them 4th level. We'll see. Let me know how you think about that. Should I give them level 4 or is level 3 fine with the 14 defenders? I'm also considering adding a 15th person there, which would be like an acolyte. So he would be like a low-level priest, but he would have access to some minor healing abilities that could be used to help keep the players in the fight as well. So I might do that. I might even add 2 of them. We'll see. We'll sort of see how that goes. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. So I mentioned before I wanted to do prize support, and I do have the prizes picked out. Now, everyone who participates is going to get to keep their mini that they use, as well as a set of dice will be provided for them. So when you show up to play this game, you don't have to have anything with you. You don't have to have dice, you don't have to have pencils, you don't have to have anything. That will all be provided for you, and you'll get to take your mini and your dice with you right away, like by default. So, you get to get a miniature, you get to get a set of dice, but I also, like I said, do want to have other prizes available as well. And I want to have something else for everybody. So I've got 5 players that could potentially play in this scenario. And it is meant to be beginner friendly. I am looking to hopefully have newer or less experienced players at the table. If I do have a group of experienced players, I also have a couple of extra optional encounters that I can throw in there because I won't need to be teaching how to play the game. And I figured that will take probably about an hour of the 4-hour window to run the game. That will be dedicated to explaining mechanics and how to do things to beginners, how to find things on the character sheet and so on. But if I don't have to do that, I do have a couple of extra encounters that I can throw in there to fill out the time as well. But depending on how it works out, if I do have new or inexperienced players, the player with the least amount of experience will get to choose their prize first, and it'll sort of go down the line kind of like that. Or I can just have everybody roll a d20, and whoever gets the highest number gets to pick first. So the prizes are going to be so I've got like 2. I don't want to call them bottom tier prizes or anything because I don't think that's necessarily fair. But there's like the 2 least expensive prizes. There's 2 that are sort of in the middle, and then there's like the one expensive or the more expensive prize. So the bottom 2 prizes are folders of or sets of these D&D character sheets. So I have 2 of these ordered from 401 Games. They're on their way to me. They just haven't arrived yet. This is my own personal sealed copy, which I will be keeping, but I do have 2 sets of character sheets coming. So The bottom two prizes are 50 character sheets that come with a nice little folder, right? So like that's not, I don't think that's a bad prize for something that, like you don't have to pay to play in the game. You just have to pay your admission for the day, right? So I think that, would be a fair cover, because even these character sheets, like the Canadian price, I think for these are like $20. So that's going to be like your weekend, right? So if you pay to go for the day, and you play at my table, you're going to be getting like $20-$30 worth of stuff, minimum, guaranteed. So we got the two of these. For the next set of prizes, the next two are going to be 2 copies of the Dragons of Stormwrack Isle starter set. So I have those also ordered at the same time as these character sheets. So I've got 2 of these and 2 of these coming my way. So, again, the players will get to choose. Whoever gets to go first gets to choose whichever prize they want. So they may want the starter set. They may want to have something where they could just play with their friends right away, and that's fine. If that's what they want, that's what they'll have the right to choose. So there'll be 2 of these starter sets available, 2 of these character sheets available, but the grand prize is going to be a copy of the 2024 Player's Handbook. So this is obviously the most expensive item in the prize pool. So yeah, those are going to be the prizes. Player's Handbook, a couple of starter sets, and a couple of things, character sheets. Everybody walks home with something in addition to the dice that is that they're going to use for the game, and the minis that they're going to use as their player characters. So everybody gets to walk away with a decent amount of prize support for their their day's admission to the con. So anyway, that's my update on the Encounter at Blackwall Keep for King Con. I'll have one final update when I've got all these additional maps drawn out on 1-inch graph paper and sort of colored in, or at least having some color on them to be visually pleasing at the table. So I'll give you an update once I have that done. But I'm really looking forward to running this. I cannot wait for King Con. Like I said, it's early July. It's the 3rd, 4th, or 5th, or the 4th, 5th, and 6th. So I'll have to get those dates to you here. Probably in the next update video. But yeah, anyway, let me know in the comments below. Have you guys run or played games at conventions? What are some of your favorite convention gaming memories? I look forward to hearing your stories there. Anyway, thank you all so very much for your time. I appreciate it, and I will see you in the next one. Until then, take care.